Well, we're back again. This time a little more complete than we were yesterday. So, I don't know. Not a whole lot's changed. Obviously, oh, for the love of Pete. So, the front bumper's on. Headlight. See our nice cooler up in there. Looking all nice and pretty. Got spindle with the brake, all brand new spiffy, so that's good. It's a new lower control arm and sway bar link installed, and I can tell you it is not the most fun thing I have done doing the lower control arm on this thing. Mainly on the left side, because that bolt you got to pull out there, 17 mil. Don't mess with the nut over here. I think that's welded on, just the head over here. But there's not enough room to get that bolt out. Not even enough room to get a socket on it because of this plate right here. And then not enough room to get a ratcheting wrench on there because you get it out so far and your head will butt up against that plate and you won't be able to get your wrench out. So you pretty much got to get it out far enough to where you can get your ratcheting wrench off and then get the box end of the wrench and or open end and do it the rest of the way until it's loose enough to do it with your fingers. But the fun kicker is that bolt, you can back it out all the way up until this rubber, and then that's not far enough. So I had to jack the transmission up, take the two 14 mil nuts off that hold this transmission bracket. Now, my rubber is separated from this lower plate. That's what this plate is the rubber mount for the motor mount for the rubber. But because mine's separated, it made it easy. I was able to take the two nuts off and just pull the rubber out of there. So if yours is still intact, good luck. You got to take out the two, whatever size those are, and then somehow, if you get the transmission up high enough, you could probably pull it out because they're, it's just bolts up top, but there's studs on that lower plate. So have fun. But yeah, our CV axle is in, which is nice. With our new boots, I did that this morning. That was less than ideal, I guess. I knew it was going to be dirty, but I do not like the clamps they gave me. I was hoping they were the PEX ring type of thing because I've got a PEX ring pliers and all that kind of stuff, so I was hoping it was going to go better. Here's a good example, too. Okay, so if you're going to buy sway bar end links, buy the good ones. These are AC Delco, which I don't have a problem with up until I go to install them. The stud starts spinning as you go to put the nut on it. It's a Stouffer lock nut. It's not one of the nylon ones. Even that would make it a pain. I would much rather just be a regular nut with some thread lock, to be honest, to get it on and then hope you never have to take it off again. So what I had to do was cut the stupid plastic cap off of this, which the factory ones, you got the metal, and then there's a plastic cap that obviously came out of that. And you see the plastic mold that's sticking out. I had to take the grinder, cut the stupid plastic cap open, take a pry bar and a hammer, and beat it off, and then stick a vice grip on here, and then take that nut off. Of course, with this lower control arm needing to be replaced, I said, screw that. I don't need to. So, that's a load of fun. Oh my gosh, I tell you, I have not had a vehicle fight me as much as this car. Those two nuts or bolts that for this lateral arm that go to the lower control arm, oh my, those were tighter than tight. The air impact, my Ingersoll would not touch that. My electric earthquake would not touch that. And with, what did I use? I ended up using my Harbor Freight, which has been good to me. It's right here. Oh, this guy, 1/2-inch drive, and I mean, I had to reef on it, even with that, which is pretty dang. It's just about, it's a hair longer than a standard breaker bar that doesn't ratchet, that you easily snap the heads off, if you know what I'm talking about, if you've used them. So, yeah. Those were tighter than tight. The only one the impact got off was this one. And then that one was just really, really tight too. So the joys. We have our new upper control arms installed on both sides. Hold on a sec. I took the strut out of both sides in order to do this, the upper control arms, because look where the bolts are. Good luck, Chuck. So it's just easier to undo the 3 14 mil and 2 12 mil and pop the strut out of here. I mean, everything's out of here, so it's just easy peasy. And it's nice because they're on like a bearing almost, or something like a bearing, so you can tighten those up tight and it'll still move nice. Whereas the lower one, it's not on a bearing, so you go to tighten it too tight with it down in the lower position and the rubber mount won't be cozy. When you put the car back on the ground, the suspension pushes up and that's putting tension on that bushing. And I don't know what all the repercussions are of doing that kind of thing, but I just know supposedly it's not good. You put the car on the ground with the full weight of the car and then you tighten that lower nut or bolt. Don't touch that welded nut. You'll regret it. Kinda, sorta. You probably live with it. Now, I had fun on the driver's side. I went to put the spindle on, and I put the lower ball joint in, and I heard... I was like, okay, it's just pushing air out. And I looked down there to go put the nut on, and it's pushed grease out. And I'm like, what the hell? And it's hard to see now, but there's a freaking tear in the boot. Brand new Moog ball joint and tear in it. Now, I don't know if that's my problem or if it's Moog's problem. I haven't determined that because it went in nice and smooth. I don't know how it got pinched or if it got pinched. It's just, there's a nice hole there. And it's like almost a straight slit. So it's like someone cut it. But I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm tired of fighting with this car today. I'm just going to pop it all on, put the nut on. You know, it'll get me a year or so down the road with a torn boot maybe. I don't know. It could go for 2 years. Who knows? But I figure I'll just ride with it for a while. Obviously, I check my car every so often to make sure things are tight, so it's not that big a deal to me. So I went to put the nut on. The nut wouldn't go on. The freaking threads are munched. I don't know if you could see the head, but you could see there's like a divot or an angle right here. And the threads all the way down are pretty much munched. And I'm like, what the hell? That was not going to work. And I have a tap and die kit, and I tried to see if I had the right size. Nope. I have one that's the right thread, but it's not the right size. So, for frick's sake, so I had to go buy a new ball joint, which was annoying. It was 18 something for that on Rock Auto, for the Moog. In the store, about $44. Big difference for the same exact part number, same exact brand. Now, it's frustrating because I went and I bought the import direct from O'Reilly. I'm like, I need this done now. I'm not going to wait another week for the parts to come. It's just getting done now. So I picked up imports direct. It was $46 or something like that because I don't have Moog. Moog is special order now, they told me. Well, that's freaking great. So, yeah. That side's done. The lower control arm did not show up for this side today. It is supposed to tomorrow. Although yesterday, before it even really got scanned in, it said it was supposed to be here today. But then I woke up, checked it, and it said, boop, nope, tomorrow. Oh, great. Okay. I didn't know if that was the control arm or not. I just noticed when all my parts showed up today that was not one of them. So, came from a different warehouse. So, whatever. But, now there's that plastic cap I cut off. And just see how the stud would spin right inside that plastic cap. Yeah. Screw that. I hate it when they do that. So, like I'm going to say, I don't know. In my experience, Moog has and has not had like a little notch back here you can get a wrench on to keep the stud from spinning. That is the handiest. If you can find sway bar links, anytime you do them, anytime. If you find them with that notch, you got some good ones. At least they're friendly to install and friendly to uninstall. Hence, if you need to redo them again at some point or take them off for future repairs. get one where you can stick a wrench on to keep the stud from spinning. That pisses me off. And what's really annoying is the ones, oh, like this one. Oh, okay. I did not know that. So this one over here has a where you can stick an Allen wrench in to keep the stud from spinning. Well, how does that work, sir? You got to stick a socket on that. You can't get a wrench in there. You can't get a wrench in there. It's just about knuckle deep. First knuckle deep. Dang it, Dale. People are stupid. Engineers are stupid, I tell you. So anyway, sorry if you're an engineer, but I hope you're using some common sense when you're designing stuff, because this is just... I don't know. I have said it so many times while working on this car. Who is the engineer that designed this thing? Because they need to get shot. A few engineers. I know it's probably not the way we think it is, where everybody gets together and they share, we're going to design it this way, and that person's like, okay, so we can design this way, and then everything just goes together, and we can take the whole car apart without having to, or we can get at that without pulling the whole car apart, or something like that, you know? No, it's like engineers, oh yeah, here's the subframe, make it work. Here's this part, make it work. And yeah, the car gets assembled on an assembly line and piece by piece, but then when you go to take it apart, oh well, they put that part on last. You gotta pull the whole car apart in order to get at that part, or put that part on first, I should say. So you know what I'm saying? That pisses me off. It pisses a lot of people off. Engineers need to wake the fuck up. Quit doing that. Quit it. So this is an interesting spot for an oil filter, if you ask me, but whatever. Anyway, so enough of that rant. I got the transmission filled up with fluid, hence why that's on there. I still didn't get that axle seal on the back side of that. I just noticed when I put 4 quarts in, because I put a brand new radiator, so that there's a cooler that's empty, and I put a brand new trans cooler aftermarket, so that's another empty cooler. And I'm like, well, this thing's going to take more than 3 quarts to fill. It took more than 3 quarts to fill when I drained that transmission and put Lucas in it. I mean, it was like 3.5 quarts that came out, or 4. I don't remember. But anyway, it was more than 3. And so it's definitely going to be more now with the extra cooler and the filter to fill up. So, yeah, I put in 4 quarts preliminary before we, call it good. And I'm doing other stuff. I look under there to do something, and all of a sudden there's a puddle on the floor, and I'm like, what the hell? And then I said, oh, that axle seal, that's right. Dang it, Dale. So, I mean, had I put 3 quarts in, it probably wouldn't have leaked. I don't know. But it didn't leak out a lot. It just was dripping. And so I just stuffed that in there quick. And I don't know. I gotta check it. But hopefully that axle seal comes tomorrow. We can just get that done. Because I really want to get this car driving tomorrow. I got to drill the studs out on the Cat yet. I've been avoiding that like the plague. But I got power steering filled up, transmission filled up, enough as is. I mean, the power steering rack is empty as can be as well, because I had to move the rack back and forth, and it was spitting fluid out everywhere. I'm pretty sure all the fluid's out of that, so I'm going to have to bleed that. Oh, Lord. Work. I still got to hook up the shaft to the column there, but I'm waiting to do this side to make sure everything's straight, so I can just plop it on, be done. Oh. So, that's really about it. I got a fair bit done today, I'd say. Jeepers, criminy. Tripping. Can't ever find my tools when you need them. That's the biggest thing. That's really frustrating. But we got the battery in. I'm going to show you this, because this is pretty cool. Now, I paid $12, I believe. I think this is pretty cool. Ugh. Whether the camera shows it right or not. They're white LEDs, but because of whatever, they come up blue. That is cool. So I paid all $13 for that kit, and it definitely works great. So no complaints at all. So ABS and breaker on, obviously, because I got to do the whatchamacalls it. I got one more ABS to do when the passenger spindle gets put on. So, so here's my handiwork CV boots. I really don't like these frickin' clamps they gave me. It's the ones you bend over and then put the tabs and yeah. You're supposed to pull on this to tighten it, but when you pull on it, then the whole thing moves and instead of tightening, and you're like, what the hell? So you're using a screwdriver and a pliers and trying to get it as tight as possible, which ain't all that terribly tight. In the instructions they show you using a PEX ring pliers and PEX rings, and I'm like, frickin' right, but where are the PEX rings? I don't have any, especially for 4 or 5 inch ones like that. So I hope they're tight enough. I guess we'll find out, and if not, we might just have to get new CV axles, because this one's a little crunchy-ish going around. That's the only one that's like that. That end, I should say, is the only one like that. So anyway, so that's the passenger side, and make sure the passenger and driver are different. So make sure you'll know when you go to put it in. I tried to put this in on the driver's side, and it would not lock in. It just kept popping right back out, and I'm like, what? It wasn't even locking in at all. It just slid out, and I'm like, what the hell? And then I look at the other one that's sitting here, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's got a bigger shaft, a little bit shorter, blah, blah, blah. Short and wide. Anyway, so yeah. Oh, and this is, like I said, this is the reason why I had to replace the control arms. So it was like the stud broke off where the castle nut was supposed to go, and it focus. So it just was not going to work. And this one's a little more loose than I like, or more free play, I should say, not loose. Whereas the one I took off the driver's side was still pretty tight. And both those studs broke off holding the brake line where that's supposed to go. Sorry, I'm not good with cameras, I guess. So anyway, yeah. So new lower control arm and this side can go together, and we could pretty much put this thing on the ground, tighten the control arms. Got to do exhaust yet, so that's gonna be fun. That's the only thing. Only other thing I'm waiting on is the exhaust, and then this thing we could fire it up and drive it out, hopefully. So, oh my goodness, what a load of work! And then when a certain check comes, y'all know what's going on. I'll order the rear links and rear struts. The ones that are back there are OEM, and they are pretty crusty for 200,000 and 20. See, this car is what, 98, so it's 3 years younger than me, so that would be 22. So 22 years old and 200,000 miles. They're pretty crusty. This is the only strut that's been replaced. I don't know why. Hopefully they use the same spring that was on the car, because otherwise this corner will be kind of up compared to the other side, and I might just have to get new front struts, but they're still good. Even the rear struts are still good. They're really good. I mean, the car just about floats, and our driveway's not perfect. It's kind of bumpy and whatnot, but this thing just glides right over all of it. You don't feel a thing just about, and but it does not bounce. It's perfect. It's just perfect the way it is. It's like, I don't want to mess with it, but I really don't want to be in there doing struts later on, and it's going to have all new rear suspension, so while you're in Rome, get it all done at once. So, I'm just so happy to be almost done with this thing, and it better be almost done, I tell you. Tired of looking underneath this hood. But we'll order a new condenser as well when we order the links and stuff, and a dryer, so that's all new and nice and pretty, and get that evac'd and recharged, and I got just enough Freon from past jobs to charge this sucker up, and oh boy, we're ready to rock and roll then. So this video turned into a little bit longer than I thought, but if I had to do it all over again, I think Moog is the only one that makes greasable components. So like end links and tie rods. So if you're gonna do it, I guess get the Moog. I guess just so you can have greasable. Whether that's going to save them or not, make them last longer, I don't know. Because it's Moog, and they've been on the verge of complete and utter shit for a little while now. So You know, other people, I've never had a problem. Well, we used to not have problems, and now we have problems. So, yeah, I mean, if you're one of those guys that's going to be like, well, I did it 6 years ago and it still goes strong. Well, yeah, 6 years ago, they were probably halfway decent still. But nowadays, you go to do it now, and a year and a half later, you're back in it again. Like, what the flying frick are you idiots doing over there? Why can't we have a dependable, reliable brand to buy and just trust them to last and last and last beyond OEM specifications? It's just like with the ball joints on the O1 over there. They're all Moog, and with about 40 to 50,000 miles on them, they're going to shit already. And it's not lifted, and it's only got 280. Well, it's got 265 60/20s on it, so it's not overly big, but they're just going to shit. And that's fantastic. So, and I grease them every once in a while, and whoop-de-doo, and yeah, garbage. Check out my nice alignment too. If you can tell, with that wheel's kind of angled in. That's handy. This wheel, I replaced the upper control arm quick. I want to get the off-road upper control arms to get my distance between the frame and the control arm, or the frame and the frame and the control arm back. That'd be nice. So this is my alignment. It's a heck of a lot better than the other side. So yeah, it still needs an alignment, and I just got this. Now, well, I'll save that for the next video. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed. It's another great sneak peek into what's going on tomorrow. The car should be relatively driving for the most part. I don't know, though, because tomorrow Dad's coming down, and we're getting this guy taken care of with the front bumper. Cannot wait to show you guys. It's going to be slicker than snot. So, alrighty. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. God bless.